Well, ladies and gentlemen, just as I said earlier, I am Dr. Stephen Akinfatosi, familiar to several of you in Foye, in Jabu, in Elizabeth University, in Lead City University, and several other universities like that. Obafemi Awolowo University also. I just felt that what is going on is not the very best for our system. Why will our students stay at home for nothing? I am a contract staff, not a regular staff, retired but not tired. And so I just felt that I could be of benefit. I'm not supposed to be on strike. I've been working on projects. And I certainly hope that things will work out for all of us. But this particular project, this particular program is designed to help all students who are willing to come to my YouTube channel. Come on board and learn. So I will be teaching things in the area of phonetics, phonology. I also teach things on grammar. I'll teach things on applied English linguistics. I will teach things on psycholinguistics. I will also teach things on discourse analysis. That is another passion of mine. And I'm willing to bring it down to earth so that as many people as are willing will understand the concepts very, very well so that they can teach these same concepts when people like us are off the scene. Because like my teachers who taught me some 40 years ago, 30 years ago, they are no longer in the system. They have gone home to rest. Many of them are still alive. At least I can still point 1, 2, 3, 4 that are still alive. Some have gone, but some have gone home to rest, not death. They are still alive. So by the time people like us have left the scene totally, so that you people can with confidence explain the concepts that go with these various causes, various subjects, and also so that you can also transfer the knowledge. You can teach these basic concepts with confidence. That is the reason I have decided to come on YouTube. I've decided to come on YouTube. So I'm going to start from phonetics and phonology. When you say phonetics and phonology, what is it that we are talking about? Somebody who wants to learn the English language, for instance. What exactly is it talking about? What is it looking for? What does he want to learn? He wants to learn the substance of language. Wow. What do you mean by substance? When we say substance, you're referring to the makeup. What makes up the language? Look at this table that is with me here. It is made of plastic. So the substance of this table is plastic. That door is made of metal. And so the substance is metal, iron. Like that. The thing that makes up something is the substance. So what is the substance of language? Do you know it? Let somebody try it. Think about it. The substance of language. It is not wood. It is not metal. It's not plastic. It's not rubber. Then what is it? I'm sure those of you that I have taught before will tell me, frankly, that the substance of language is speech sounds. Speech sounds constitute the substance of language. Language is made up of speech sounds as substance. So by the time you begin to talk of speech sound, what are you talking about? We will not go to the nitty-gritty of phonetics and phonology today. We'll just talk about the elementary parts of it. The next time when I come around again, we'll talk about more. So when you talk of speech sounds, what are you talking about? Several languages have their own speech sounds. When you say k, p, d, e, and so on. All these are speech sounds. By the time you put them together, you are beginning to go away from the domain of phonetics. You are going to the domain of phonology. I won't talk about that now. So, the various speech sounds in English belong in different classes. When you see a speech sound, the production of which involves a total occlusion, total closure of the organs of speech, maybe the two lips, as in, p, p. You have that. So that's a plosive. That's a plosive sound. So it's a stop sound. But you can also have as a man. That's a nasal sound. It's a nasal stop. It's not a plosive, but it's a stop. The lips come together, and then the air from the lungs pass out through the nostrils. That air stream that passes out through the nostrils, coming from the lungs, is called the pulmonic egressive air. Egressive, going out. Ingressive, coming in. We won't talk too much about that for now. Maybe that's a subject for another time. The mechanics of speech making, speech sounds. We'll go into all those later. But today, get to know that the characteristics of speech sounds are identifiable by what characterizes or what characterize each speech sound. Maybe you have total occlusion, total stop, then you do sudden release with audible plosion, p. Total stop, gradual release through the nasal cavity, that's another type. We have t, as in table, that's it. Table, pot, keg, girl or go, d, t, all these. You have total occlusion, total stoppage. The two organs make a stop contact. And so by the time you now release the contact, you break it suddenly and you have an audible plosion. And so you hear p, g, t, d. All those ones are plosive sounds. Plosives. But when you have as in man, as in no, as English, as in sing. When I was young, in primary school, my teacher taught me to say sing. God forgive that, my teacher. And if you didn't put the ge, you get a knock for saying the correct thing. You just say sing, then you get a knock for saying it correctly. God have mercy on him. Of course, he didn't mean any evil. He only wanted to help, but he didn't know better than that. That will probably be in 1964, thereabout. It's a long time, primary school. You see? So it's sing, sing, bringing, singing, not singing. So you have to put silence into some sounds that come after the nasal sound, the nasal stop, like the singing. In my teacher's college days, I remember the timekeeper would say, "Bagong, bagong, bagong, sing." He overexpressed it. It's not seeing, it's singing, not singing. But my teacher said I should say singing. That's an abomination. Don't say singing. In fact, there is no plosion in the production of the sound that comes after the nasal, the velar nasal sound. The Ondo man will say then That's the ng. We are very wonderful in Ondo. You won't imagine that. So we find it easy to produce that sound. Beyond that, you also have some speech sounds, so that when you produce them, there's a closure, then there's a gradual release of the air that is coming from the lungs, the pulmonic egressive air, gradually released, prolonged release, as in as in seizure, measure. You see that? That's what you have. All these ones are called fricative sounds with friction. They are produced. There is a partial closure, partial occlusion, not total occlusion, partial closure of the two organs of speech that are involved. Then you release the air from the lungs, the pulmonic egressive air, gradually to produce what you call fricative sound. Then there are dimensions that you put into practice or into consideration where you want to tell us which plosive sound, which fricative sound, which nasal sound. You have to identify which organs of speech are involved. If it is the two lips, two lips, two, bilabial, nasal, man. You want to tell me another one? Where you have any word with Come on, try. Do you have it? Yes, I know you know it. How about map? He's a madman. Somebody said that in a film. He said, you want to try that guy? He'll kill all of us. He's a madman. Yes. These are bilabial nasal sounds. There is alveolar nasal too. The teeth ridge. And then you say gradual release. But this time around through the nasal cavity, not through the mouth, not oral cavity, not buccal cavity. So you see, these are the things that we'll be dealing with in this course, the various speech sounds. Some you have that are double articulation. In English, you don't have that in most Yoruba dialects. Chase. But you have it in our dialect. I once did a master's degree program and I pontificated that these children had this problem because the sound does not exist in Yoruba. When I now went on teaching practice to supervise my students, I had an old man say, Che wo fẹ́ ra mọ́tò nẹ̀. Che wo fẹ́ ra mọ́tò nẹ̀. Yeah? I said, Baba, say that thing again. He repeated it. Che. That's an affricate. It's an affricate. Double articulation. Two sounds. One is a plosive, t. The other one is affricative, sh. So, t, sh, t, sh, t, sh. Say that. Say t, sh, t, sh. But they must go simultaneously. And then the second one, which is a fricative, sh, will get pronounced, will get prolonged. So, sh, t, sh, but no gap. So, sh. That's chase. It's a nice chap. Yeah. That's a charade. It's not genuine. It's a mere charade. Charade is Charade. Do you know the meaning? Just to show body, as some people will say. It's not genuine. It's not giving them anything genuine. That's it. It's a charade, just to show off. It's a mere charade. Charade. Shh. Not ch. But champion, chaste, chess. That is we call it the palato-alveolar affricate. It's produced on the space, the roof of the mouth, after the teeth ridge, backwards, and then the maybe the middle of the tongue. Chase, chart, charm. That's it. Then it has a voice counterpart. There's another dimension. There I told you sometimes, or maybe I didn't mention it. There are three dimensions. There are three principles for establishing the production, for describing the production of sounds. In terms of consonant sounds, you have the place of articulation, that is the organs that are involved. You have the manner of articulation, whether it is sudden release with audible plosion or gradual release with audible friction, or sudden release, the double articulation with sudden release without plosion, gradual release without plosion, with audible friction. You also have one in which you have a single articulation, gradual release with audible nasalization. So you produce the sound, and then you can perceive nasalization. That's it. If you're unable, if you have, that's why if you have problem with your organs of speech, you might not be able to produce English sounds very well. Even Yoruba sounds. When we were young in secondary school, we used to marvel at a woman. We say, why are you talking like that? Well, he said the father of that girl will beat me if I go and worry the girl. Hey, Tomba, man, no band. That is, he dare not. I'll beat him badly. Man, no band. No is a nasal sound. So, in which case, if there's a problem with your palate, you have a cleft palate. Cleft palate. If you have that, then all your speech sounds will be permanently nasalized. Why? Because there will be an automatic access to the nasal cavity for the incoming, for the outgoing pulmonic egress, what you call the pulmonic egressive air, the outgoing air from the lungs. It will permanent. It will have a permanent access to the nasal cavity. And so, nobody can tell me that. You do that, I'll beat him up. Yes, that's because he has a cleft palate. In medical practice, they can repair it. So, we are going to talk about that later. It's going to form another topic: organs or speech sounds production. Organs or speech sound production. We'll learn about all this, what they are, from the lips to the oral cavity, the roof of the mouth, which is what is called the palate, starting from the alveolar ridge, palato-alveolar region, then the velum, which is the soft palate. You get that. Then another component is the tongue, which is labeled the tip, the front, the middle, and then the back of the tongue. You see? So all these organs have particular functions. When we speak, we don't recognize it because we find speech easy. Jehovah has been very wonderful in creating us. Once you are young and you hear your parents talk, you say, give me that thing. And you say, because it sounds like your Yoruba, you say, give me that thing. Or you say, I want this one. I want this one. That's what you're going to say when you are young. In Yoruba, you will say, Ngoyo. Ngoyo. That is, Ngolo. That is, I won't go. You see that? So you learn these things. As you go up, it's part of your maturational process. And before you know what's happening, you're speaking, you're talking with freeness. So you do not appreciate the gift that Jehovah, the God of creation, gave you that gift to be able to speak freely. So the thing is, it is not easy. Somebody says, Igbo is very easy. Hausa is easy. No language is easy. Is English easy? You need to listen to the abomination that people commit when you speak English. Plenty abominations. They slaughter many grammatical sacred cows. They pronounce words very badly because they didn't learn it very well. But if you are in English, you are supposed to be better off than others who are not specialists in English. If you have done a bachelor's degree in English, you're supposed to be above board. Yes, you must be above board. You must learn how to articulate speech sounds correctly. So, when next we come around, I am going to talk about the various classes of speech sounds: plosives, fricatives, affricates, nasals, liquids. Are you getting that? Plosives and so on. Each of them has a characteristic feature that characterizes it as such. And that is why it's given the name it is given. So if you are in English, you must be able to explain how each of these sounds is produced. You must be able to identify what speech sounds are involved. So when I actually come around to teach, today is just a general introduction. I'll go deeper into these things. Or maybe I'll use a board and write things for you to see. Or maybe I'll also introduce my book to you, An Introduction to the Phonetics and Phonology of English. The last edition was 2007. It was written in 2001, where the book is undergoing review, upgrading. If it is the will of God, maybe this year or next. The latest edition will be 2022 or 2023 to hit the book stands. There are several books on phonetics and phonology, several. Many of them written by native speakers, like Gimson, like Ladifogate, like Christopherson, like this old man, what's his name now? Firth, F-I-R-T-H, Firth. There are those written by native Africans, native Nigerians, in fact. One of my former students has one. My senior colleague, wrote one. Late Professor Oshisonwu, his son wrote one. Dr. Ayo Oshisonwu. Then several others on phonetics and phonology. By the time you read many, you'll be able to distinguish one from the other. But the important thing is that you have gone through a course in phonetics and phonology. You must be able to identify correctly what is phonetics, what is phonology. We are coming to those. I have not done much today. Just mentioned the idea of phonetics. Just told you that it is that branch of language study that studies the substance of language. And the aspect of it that it studies, that we just mentioned, is phonetics. What about phonology? Somebody says the same thing. Somebody, even an external moderator, said it sometimes. I say, they are subsumed. One is subsumed under the other. So how can you say that kind of thing? Phonetics looks at how speech sounds are produced, the organs involved, what the organs do when they are producing. Phonology looks at how these organs are used. One is production, organs involved. The other one is usage. The other one is usage. How they are arranged in syllables. Some arrangements are not possible in English. Some are possible in German, but not in English. Some are possible in Russian, not in English. In Yoruba, some are not just possible. You can have brr or trr or vrr. Even the v does not even exist in Yoruba. You see? So that is the thing. So we will sit down and look at what happens when you talk of phonology. Can you distinguish the two? They are not the same thing. They study the same substance, but they study two different things about substance. Phonetics studies speech sounds. Phonology also studies speech sounds, but they study different things. While phonetics studies how speech sounds are produced and how they are perceived, you study from the perception or the point of view of the hearer. That's auditory phonetics. We'll learn these things when we come next again. You see, what organs are involved? Is it the lips? Is it the tongue and the back of the tongue of the roof of the mouth? Or is it the tongue enmeshed in the teeth like that? Through. Go through that door. Go through that door. Go through that door. Through, not through. go through. That's it. All those concerns are phonetic concerns. Then pitch, high pitch, low pitch, you are still in phonetics. But by the time you begin to look at how are the speech sounds arranged, is it 3 or fru or CVCV, ka, bo, g, gu, la, le, like in Yoruba, you begin to talk of syllabic structural patterns. But in English, you have a variety of patterns that are available. You are in phonology. Beyond that, you begin to look at where a particular speech sound is more prominent than the other. Like table, daddy. The stress. When you are in the area of stress or the area of intonation, table? Do you mean table? You are in the area of phonology, not phonetics. You see the thing? But there are also a place where what we call morphophonemics, where they cross across. We are coming to all those. But get to know today that we will take off from phonetics and phonology. When we have fully exhausted the topics under phonetics, we'll go to phonology. Sometimes we'll come across, go back, go and come back. Once we have exhausted that at the undergraduate level, we can now go to grammar. What is grammar? What exactly do people do? What is grammar? What does the word grammar mean? It has several meanings. So whoever is there, what does he study? You will learn these things on this platform. We'll find our time to explain them very well for you. And there are books that are very good in this area. I'll mention them to you later. Beyond grammar, you also have what they call semantics, the study of meaning. What do you study in terms of meaning? The various things you study, the various processes for word formation and meaning production, you will learn them. You will learn them. Semantics. Then beyond that, we begin to talk of applied linguistics. All this knowledge of phonology, knowledge of grammar, knowledge of whatever it is, you begin to apply them. Maybe when you are doing stylistic analysis. It's a form of applied linguistics. Yeah. And you can also bring it into discourse analysis. When somebody says, hey, Stephen, that is called summons. I say, here, hi. He responds. So summons responds to summons. So if you refuse to answer, you keep quiet, it has a significant meaning in English. I think in Yoruba too. You call somebody, and it's not that I didn't hear you and he refuses to answer you. Something serious is happening. That is it. So beyond that, we'll study so many other things, branches of English studies. In grammar, just as I said, you look at tense, you look at structural patterns, you look at sentence structural patterns, you look at functional grammar, you look at several other aspects of grammar. So by the time we finish, we'll have gone a long way with grammar. So befriend this YouTube channel. Make sure that you come on board all the time. I'm dealing with not just 4-year students who are my basic students, but I'm dealing with all humans who study English in this country and abroad. So you can invite anybody, tell them that this platform is alive. So have a pleasant time. And I pray that the government of this country will do us the correct thing by calling off the intention to continue to escalate tensions, saying that there will be no work and if there's no work, there will be no pay. And that a professor should not try to equate himself with a senator. The Lord is our strength. Have a pleasant time. God bless you.